downed a whole bottle. Then we took a few tabs. Or something like that. And then we went out into your hallway. Snatched that shit up. Fucked that shit up.
So, you know a little bit about this, but I was adopted at birth, right?
Okay.
And
I was going to ask you what your trauma is.
Right. So I was
What's your
adopted at
trauma?
birth, and at like 5 or 6 years old, my adopted parents explained this to me because I started going to public school. We were in a small town, and they just said, look, you know, we don't want someone else to say this to you and surprise you and make you think it was a bad thing. You know, you were available to be raised in a family, and we wanted a family, and we picked you, you know? And
okay.
you
have a brother?
Well, here we go. Yeah.
Well,
I received that information, and it sounded perfect to me. Okay. It wasn't until teenage years that I put a lot of thought into that. I was like, okay, so I had a mother and a father that I don't know, and that essentially gave me away for whatever reason, you know? And because I didn't know them, it never occurred to me that they made a mistake or something, right? Well, in 2017, my father died. And then in 2018, I began wondering, well, you know, you go to the doctor and the doctor will ask you, what's your family history of any of these conditions? And I had no basis for that. So I took a DNA test just to find out what my genetic background was. And I paid a little extra because they're supposed to give you a bunch of medical markers for things. That's really what I was looking for. And a month later, the website sent me a message saying, hey, your first cousin's also on the site. Do you want to talk to her? And I never even considered that was a possibility. So I sent her, I looked up her name, and I found she had an Instagram account. And I didn't think we looked similar, but my wife said we have the same eyes, which was interesting, but that could be, you know. So I just sent her my profile and said, hey, here's my name, here's my age, here's where I grew up. Does any of this sound like something in your family? And she contacted me very quickly, and she said, yeah, you're going to want to sit down to hear this, you know? You know, and she said.
So that's a little sneak peek of this week's Degenny Diaries. If you would like to hear the rest of the episode, you can subscribe to my Patreon. All the episodes of the Degenny Diaries and any bonus content will be found on the Patreon. You can find the link to the Patreon in the description of this podcast, or just head to boylecomedy.com and the link is on my website. It's extremely important to me that I never have to advertise on this podcast. I don't want to have to shill a fucking product to earn a living. So the subscribers of the Patreon are the lifeblood of the podcast. You make it all worthwhile. So if you enjoy the podcast, if you get anything out of it, then subscribe to the podcast. It's £1 a month. Become a true Degenny. Support Le Boyale. Your support is unbelievably meaningful to me. So I'll see you over there, and I'll see you the fuck later.